Hi. How's it going? Hi. Troy. What is? What?
It's because she had people sitting on her, so she sits right there.
Yeah. It's not that weird. I don't think it should like throw off your learning or anything. Oh, geez. Okay. Brendan, are you coming back like full time or is it just today? Yay. All right, let's see. Good morning, folks. Brendan Hayward is out. Troy is here. Chip. Sterling. On Darius. Okay, before we get started today, I was asked to mention to you guys that it's still possible for you to be involved in student council if you want to, which I don't really know totally what all the roles of student council would be, but you could be senior class president, you could be student body president, you could be a vice president. If you are interested in that, then email Miss Sale, which I'll put her email address in the chat. If you're interested in that. And I'm sure that some of you guys would be able to win. Okay. So today we are going to read the next to last scene in Hamlet. I'll move over here closer to you guys. We've got kind of a lot of people in this scene. We've got, let's look back at the list of who I was reading everything, because some of them are like small parts we've never seen before. We have Gravedigger and Other Gravedigger, which, let's see, I had Sterling to read Gravedigger, but his mic is still not working. So, yes. You what? Oh, you can also sign in on here. That's what Corey always says. And I just try to like mute my mic and unmute it so you don't get a lot of feedback. We are going to be at Act 5, Scene 1. Anybody want to volunteer to read Gravedigger? Troy. Troy's going to be Gravedigger. Nate, I have you as other Gravedigger. This scene also has Hamlet and Horatio, Chip. You want to read Laertes again today? Hayward's not here. We have Priest, which Christian, I have you doing Priest.
Wait, you had said that I'll be Laertes again? Or
No. Ian's going to be Laertes again. Because it's
Okay.
Hayward, but he's not here.
I'm just still Horatio, right?
Sorry, what?
I'm still just Horatio, right?
Yes, you are Horatio.
Cool.
And then Claudius and Gertrude are also in this scene. So Christian, I know that means you're reading two things in this scene, but I don't think they interact at all, so you should be all right. That your picture of Christian always throws me off. So I think he's just staring at me. Okay, let me get to our spot, and then I'll share my screen with you. You are not reading today. I think it might be tomorrow. I'm not sure. All right. We're just going to read this one scene today, but it is like 13 pages, so it's on the longer side. And it's important. We've only got 2 scenes left. Act 5 only has 2 scenes, so we've got these 2 scenes left. They're both sort of long, but obviously because we're wrapping it up, there's a lot that actually happens. What does this mean? What do you mean pack? What does that mean? I don't know what things mean that you guys say. Okay, so we've got the Gravedigger. Troy's going to read Gravedigger and other to start with. Troy, make sure that your mic is unmuted, and I'm going to mute mine while you're reading.
Are they really going to give her a Christian burial after she killed herself?
I'm telling you, so finish the grave right away. The coroner examined her case and says it should be a Christian funeral.
But how? Unless she drowned in herself. Unless she drowned in self-defense.
That's what they're saying she did.
Sounds more like self-offense, if you ask me. What I'm saying is, if she knew she was drowning herself, that's an act. The act has 3 sides to it. To do, to act, and to perform. Therefore, she must have known she was drowning herself.
No, listen here, Gravedigger, sir.
Let me finish. Here's the water, right? And here's a man, okay? The man goes into the water and drowns himself. He's the one doing it, like it or not. But if the water comes to him and drowns him, he just drown himself. Therefore, he who is innocent of death, not short of his own life.
Is that how the law sees it?
It sure is. It sure is the coroner's inquest law.
Do you want to know the truth? If this woman hadn't been rich, she would have been given a Christian burial.
Well, there, now you said it. To pity that the rich have more freedom to hang or drown themselves than the rest of us Christians. Come on, shovel. The most ancient aristocrats in the world are gardeners, fish diggers, and grave diggers. To keep up Adam's profession.
Was he an aristocrat with a coat of arms?
He was the first person who ever had arms.
Yeah.
He didn't have any.
What? Are you Christian? The Bible says Adam dug in the ground. How could he dig without arms? I'll ask you another question. You can't answer it.
Go ahead.
What do you call a person who builds stronger things than a stone mason? A shipbuilder or carpenter does?
The one who builds the gallows to hang people on since his structure outlives 8,000 inhabitants.
It's funny. I like that. Gallup did a good job of how it's a good job for those who do bad. Now, it's wrong to say the gallows is stronger than the church. Therefore, the gallows may do you some good. Come on, your turn.
Let's see who builds stronger things than Sloane's Bench, a shipbuilder or a carpenter.
That's the question, so answer it.
I've got it.
Go ahead.
Damn, I forgot.
Don't beat your brains out over it. You can't make a slow donkey run by beating it. The next time someone asks you this riddle, say a grave digger. The houses he makes last till Judgment Day. Now go and get me some booze.
You need to sing this whole song.
No.
Okay, just say it then. Just say the words.
In my youth, I loved. I thought it was very sweet to set the date for like my duty. Oh, I thought it was not right.
All right, before Hamlet comes in, I just want to wait. Am I muted?
No.
They're kind of talking about who they're burying, and they haven't mentioned her name or anything, but it's Ophelia. They're preparing to bury her, and they're digging her grave. And what they're talking about this whole time is whether she killed herself or not, if she just drowned accidentally, because that makes a really big difference. Like, it doesn't make a difference now, but back then they thought that if you killed yourself, you couldn't go to heaven because it meant that you would not have confessed your sins before you died. So they even say something about how, like, if she weren't rich, then she wouldn't be allowed this Christian funeral, because they kind of look down on victims of suicide, that they've like done this horrible, sinful thing. And typically they wouldn't be given a proper like Christian burial. Let me close this door. I just feel like people are gonna be disturbing. But also, Hamlet's about to come in, and he does not know right now that Ophelia has died. So I'm sure he's going to handle that just as well as he handles literally everything else. All right, Hamlet.
Doesn't this guy realize what he's doing? He's singing while digging a grave.
The day I'm not in school, you go to school?
I mean, I'm back for a time, so yeah.
Horatio.
If you're reading, Chip, your mic's on mute.
He's gotten so used to graves that they don't bother him anymore.
Yes, exactly. Only people who don't have to work can afford to be sensitive.
Gravedigger? Yeah, line. You don't have to sing it. Cool if you did. Yeah, he throws it in the skull. Sorry, we're getting on the famous skull scene where he talks to the skull. You know the famous skull scene? That's
I thought the scene was like, really?
yeah. It's right here at the end. So yeah, Hamlet, you know, you always see that thing where like Hamlet's talking to a skull. It's about to happen. Yeah. A skull. Yeah. So the grave digger's like digging out a grave, and he tosses a skull up out of the ground that he found.
That skull had a tongue in it once and could sing. That jackass is throwing it around as if it could belong to Cain, who did the first murder. It might be the skull of a politician once, capable of talking his way around God, right? And now this idiot is pulling rank on him.
Indeed, my lord.
or courtier,
Mhm.
or a courtier who could say things like, "Good night, my sweet lord. How are you doing, good lord?" This might be the skull of Lord so and so, who praises Lord such and such horse when he wanted to borrow it, right?
Yes, my lord.
Exactly. And now it's the property of a lady worm. Its lower jaw knocked off and thwacked on the noggin with a shovel. That's quite a reversal of fortune, isn't it? If we could only see it. Are these bones worth nothing more than blowing pins now? It makes my bones ache to think about.
Grave digger. Throws up another skull. Huh? I don't know.
There's another. Could that, yeah, could that be a lawyer skull? Where all his razzle dazzle legal jargon now? Why does he allow this idiot to knock him on the head with a dirty shovel instead of suing him for assault and battery? Maybe this guy was once a great landowner with his deeds and contracts, his tax shelters and his annuities. Is it is it part of his deed of ownership to have his skull filled up with dirt? Does he only get to keep as much land as a set of contract would cover you, spread them out on the ground? The deeds to his properties would barely fit in his coffin, and the coffin is all property he gets. His coffin is all the property he gets to keep.
No more than that, my lord.
Isn't the parchment of a legal document made of sheepskin?
Yes, my lord, and calfskin too.
Anyone who puts his trust in such documents is a sheep or a calf. I'll talk to this guy. Excuse me, sir. Whose grave is this?
Grave digger. Just while we're getting to this next page here, I also wanted to mention that he obviously he's just talking as Hamlet always does, just externally processing through everything. But when he sees these skulls, all this stuff that he's been saying up to this point is sort of just an explanation of it doesn't matter who these skulls belong to. We all end up in the same place anyway. We're all gonna die. It doesn't matter if this person was a lord or a lady or nobody. We're all gonna end up in the grave eventually. So he's obviously a super happy guy, and it's pretty characteristic of him to be dwelling on death and the inevitability of death. It's maybe not the most cheerful thing, but it's a fair enough point, especially for someone who we know has contemplated suicide. Troy, this little bit at the top is still you singing.
I think it really must be yours since you're the one lying in it. But you are lying in it. Being in it says it's yours. It's for the dead, not the living, so you're lying. What man are you digging it for? What woman, then? Who's to be buried in it? How literal this guy is. We have to speak precisely or he'll get the better of us with
No, he just still does not know.
his wordplay. Lord Horatio, I've been noticing this for years now. The peasants have The peasants have become so clever and witty that they're nipping at the heels of noblemen. How long have you been a gravedigger?
Hmm.
How long ago was that? Why was he sent to England? Why not? How did he go crazy? What do you mean in a strange way? On what grounds?
Right here in Denmark, I've been to church boarding here for 30 years since childhood.
How long will a man lie in his grave before he starts to rot?
So he's like, people have sort of passed it around that Hamlet he's been sent off to England because he's gone crazy. We know that he didn't actually make it all the way to England. He came back, but apparently everybody else doesn't think that. So they just think of him as like the insane Hamlet and think that he's kind
Technically,
of gone off to like cover his city.
technically, not wrong. Technically, not wrong. No,
So they're not wrong.
not at all.
Yeah.
Well, if he's not rotten before he dies, then there are a lot of people now who are so rotten that they start falling to pieces even before you put them in the coffin. It will last 8 or 9 years. Doesn't make it last 9 years.
Why does he last longer?
Because his hide is so leathery from his trade that he keeps the water off him a long time. And water is what makes you body rot more than anything. This skull that's been here 23 years.
Whose was it?
A crazy, who do you think?
I really don't know.
Dang, that crazy madman. He poured a pitcher of white wine in my head once. This is the skull of York, the king's jester.
This one?
Yes, that one.
Let me see. Oh, poor Yorick. I used to know him, Horatio, a very funny guy, and with an excellent imagination. He carried me on his back 1,000 times, and now, how terrible this is him. It makes my stomach hurt. It makes my stomach turn. I don't know how many times I kissed the lips that used to be right here. Oh, okay. Where are your jokes now? Your pranks, your songs, your flashes of wit that used to set the whole table laughing. You don't make anybody smile now. Are you sad about that? You need to go to my lady's room and tell her that no matter how much makeup she slathers on, she'll end up just like you someday. That'll make her laugh. Horatio, tell me something.
What's that, my lord?
Do you think Alexander the Great looked like this when he was buried?
Exactly like that.
It smelled like that too? Woo.
So just before we go on, this skull that he's talking to belonged to his former court jester. Like the court jester who worked for his dad. And they kind of
Troy, mute your mic.
yeah, mute your mic, sorry. They kind of talk about how I don't really know what the relationship between court jesters and kids of the court, like kings and princes and stuff, would have been like. But clearly, this guy was like important to him, and he like carried him on his back when he was young. It does say that like they kissed, but it, like a familial kiss. There's nothing weird going on there. But the fact that he like of all skulls to pull out of the ground, that's the one he's pulling out. It really like deeply affects him because he's like, wow, I used to know this person really closely. This was somebody who's really important to me. And it kind of just drives home that fact of like we're all going to die. We all wind up in the same place. This was somebody that mattered to him, and now he's just a skull. So it's very, it's a very powerful moment for Hamlet. But let's keep going. Horatio, you know that? Sorry.
Ike's on mute again.
I had said that, but I can say it again. Just as
Oh.
bad, my lord.
How long can we fall? Horatio, isn't it possible to imagine that the noble ashes of Alexander the Great could end up plugging a hole into the barrel?
If you thought that, you'd be thinking too much.
No, not at all. Just follow the logic. Alexander died. Alexander was buried. Alexander returned to dust. The dust is dirt, and dirt makes mud. We used to stop up holes. So why can't someone plug a beer barrel with the dirt that used to be Alexander the Great? Emperor Caesar, dead and turned to clay, might plug up a hole to keep the wind away. Oh, to think that the same body that once ruled the world could now patch up a wall. But be quiet a minute.
And Claudius and Gertrude and Laertes show up, and priest, which I already I said is priest. But this is, that's still him.
Here comes the king, the queen, and the noble men of court. Who are they following? And with such a plain and scrawny ceremony. It measures the courts they're following took its own life. Must have been from a wealthy family. Let's stay and watch a while.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that they must have taken their life because it was like such a small, scrawny ceremony, and there wasn't like a big fancy to do about it. And like the king and queen wouldn't be there if it was somebody who didn't matter. So, he's kind of trying to put it together. All right, you gonna read Laertes, Ian?
That's Laertes, a very noble man, a noble young man. Listen.
Christian, you gonna read this priest part for me?
I performed as many rites as I am permitted. Her death was suspicious, and were it not for the fact that the king gave orders to bury her here, she'd have been buried outside the church graveyard. She deserves to have rocks and stones thrown on her body, but she has had prayers read for her and is dressed up like a poor virgin with flowers tossed on her grave and the bell tolling for her. No, nothing. We would profane the other dead souls here if we sang the same requiem for her that we sang for them.
I know.
What, the beautiful Ophelia?
Uh-oh. Oh, Queen is Gertrude. I don't know why there's this one time that she's just listed as Queen instead of Gertrude. Yeah, that was like player Queen or whatever, but yeah, this is Gertrude. Christian, you still reading Gertrude?
I can't see it.
You can't see?
No, I can't see it.
It's Queen, but I don't know why there's this one of hers that's
All right, sweet flowers for a sweet girl. Goodbye. She scatters flowers I once hoped you'd be my Hamlet's wife. I thought I'd be tossing flowers on your wedding bed, my sweet girl, not on your grave. No, I ain't done.
And he literally jumps into the grave. That's Hamlet coming forward.
Who is the one whose grief is so loud and clear? Whose words of sadness make the planet stand still and the heavens as if they've been hurt by what they've heard? It's me, Hamlet the Dane.
And then he jumps into her grave. And then literally together in Opelia's grave. Like, I feel like in TV movies, people actually jump into graves, but they're sort of like, I miss her more. I loved her more. You did not. I'm mourning her the most. And they literally fight about it in this poor dead girl's grave.
That's no way to pray. Please take your hands off my throat. I may not be rash and quick to anger, but I have something dangerous in me which you should beware of. Take your hands off.
Hold him. Now it's great. Yeah, I don't know why.
Hamlet.
Gentlemen. Horatio.
Please, my lord, calm down.
I'll fight him over this issue till I don't have the strength to blink.
Oh, my son, what issue is that?
I loved Ophelia, 40,000 brothers. If you added all their love together, couldn't match mine. What are you going to do for her?
Oh, he's crazy. There she is.
For the love of God, be patient with him.
Damn it. Show me what you're going to do with her. Will you cry, fight, stop eating, cut yourself, drink vinegar, eat a crocodile? I'll do all that. Did you come here to whine? To outdo me by jumping into her grave theatrically? To be buried alive with her? So will I. And if you rattle on about mountains, then let me throw millions of acres over us. It will be so high a peak that it scrapes against heaven and make Mount also look like a wart. See, I can talk crazy as well as you.
See, this is pure insanity. He'll be like this for a little while. Then he'll be as calm and quiet as a dove waiting for her eggs to hatch.
Listen, sir, why do you treat me like this? I always loved you, but it didn't matter. Even a hero like Hercules can't keep cats from acting like cats and dogs like dogs.
Please, Horatio, go with him. Don't forget our talk last night and try to be patient. We'll take care of this problem soon. Gertrude, have the guards keep an eye on your son. A monument shall be built for Ophelia that will last forever, I promise. We'll have the quiet we need soon. In the meantime, let's proceed patiently. And that's the end of the scene. So the scene is insane, obviously, for several reasons, but the main one is just how absolutely dramatic Hamlet is. Like, he shows up, and, like, keep in mind, for literally the rest of the play, he's been really kind of mean to Ophelia. And, like, we know that they were in a relationship before. He said that he loved her before, but now he's like, I don't love you anymore. You need to be locked away in a convent. All women are insane. All women will cheat on you. We're better off without each other. And then when she dies, he like literally jumps into her grave and fights with her brother. and is like, I love her more than 40,000 brothers could ever love her. And I feel like he's singing Bruno Mars' song Grenade, because he's like, I'll do this for you. I would do this for her. I would eat a crocodile for her. It's just like, what are you talking about? Like, that's not a thing that we do to show affection for someone. But he's like, Laertes would never do those things for her, and I would. I loved her more. And I'm just like, you have not shown that this entire time. You're just like overcome. And I feel like it's more about competition with Laertes than it is actually grieving Ophelia. That's just my thought on it. That's not necessarily like.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like, I mean, reading it, absolutely. It's about just one-upping Laertes.
Yeah, like I can't really believe that I'm sure he is sad about Ophelia. I think if you ever loved anybody and they died, you'd have some feelings about it, but he's been so mean to her and about her this whole time. I don't think he is gonna like throw himself on her grave just out of grief. I think if Laertes hadn't done it first, then he wouldn't have done it either. He's just like showing off while saying to Laertes, stop showing off. It's so dumb. But so your act 1 through 3 timeline was due last night. If you turn it in today, I'll probably wink at it and not count it late. But you also have a new assignment, which is, where's my modules? Here we go. Literally the same thing, but with acts 4 and 5. Yeah. Now this, a good question. It's actually not going to be due until Monday. Let me stop sharing my screen with you for just a minute here. Monday is going to be sort of like since it's a virtual work day, you're going to have that to turn in, and you're going to have one other thing to turn in that I'll give you on Thursday. So tomorrow, I think I already told you guys, I have a training to do all day, so I can't meet through Zoom. So tomorrow, what you're going to do is you can work on your timeline, and then there's going to be a discussion post. Here's the catch. You need to do the discussion post in order to be counted present for the day, because that's the only way I'll know like who. That's how I'm supposed to do it anyway. If I ever do like just all virtual and not meeting on Zoom, but I haven't always been good about that, and sometimes I just count everybody present anyway. But I won't put in attendance until tomorrow night. So make sure that you do the discussion post so that you are counted present for the day. Christian, you got a Winthrop sticker in your room? I just noticed that because I went to Winthrop and I have one over there too. Crazy. Okay, so for the rest of today, and I'll email you guys either tonight or in the morning, just so that you'll have a reminder of what you're supposed to do and that you don't have to meet through Zoom. Yeah, Wednesday, tomorrow. No. Yeah, I have this first responder training that I gotta go learn how to do CPR. So, so I won't be able to meet. So I'll send you a reminder tonight or in the morning just to let you know what you're doing and everything. But you've got 15-ish minutes left. So you can go ahead, and if you have not turned in your Act 3, you can finish that up and get it turned in, your Acts 1 through 3, sorry. And if you have already turned it in, then you can start working on your Act 4 and 5 timeline. Anything else before I let you guys go? All right. See y'all Thursday.